Major arms manufacturers met with government and military officials in Berlin this week to discuss European defense. A shared frustration how to spend better under pressure to spend more. The European military-industrial complex was on full display this week in a hotel in former East Berlin. An array of workwear and military uniforms buzzed around conference venue as icons of global arms industry boasted about their lethal weapons, and transatlantic dignitaries took to stage to promote common defense. The message was clear: peacetime is over. From a European perspective, a new period of conflict, especially with Russia, means, as German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said, being ready for war to avoid war. Achieving the level of deterrence that many active and retired war planners and policymakers say is necessary does not come cheap. We have militaries in some of these countries that have been neglected for 3 decades. And of our NATO allies are really not fully compatible with some of the equipment in cases. Rett said. And we're not there yet across our alliance. U.S. Air Force Gen. Philip Breedlove told DW. Breedlove's tenure as Supreme Allied Commander, the NATO military alliance's top defense post until 2016, saw 2 major milestones on the long road to Western rearmament. In 2014, Russia illegally brought Crimea and parts of eastern Ukraine into its orbit. And in the same year, NATO members agreed to spend at least 2% of their GDP on their militaries over the decade. Military spending has increased overall this next year, and with Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Although some countries, such as Germany, are unlikely to hit the magic target, NATO predicts an 8.3% increase in 2023 over 2022. Last year. This excludes U.S. spending, which alone is more than double the rest of the alliance combined. In total, more than $1.4 trillion is allocated to the defense budgets of NATO members. We should never think of war as a business, said one participant. How much and how good the numbers dwarf the Russian side, which invaded Ukraine for less than $50 billion. This corresponds to the amount that Germany's defense ministry receives in a year. The war and its many missteps have forced the Kremlin to more than triple its official military budget by 2023, according to some independent analysts. At the same time, Ukraine has managed to hold back one of the world's most feared armies. At least on paper. With relatively little money, military aid to Ukraine accounts for a tiny fraction of its supporters' GDP, with much of it going to buying kits from Western suppliers. Breedlove, who attended the conference upon the invitation of weapons systems giant Lockheed Martin, said, "We should never think of war as a business. But if you want to look at return on investment, these numbers are pretty good. How much and how urgently countries need to increase their forces depends largely on perceptions of the war in Ukraine. Those who see a victory and stop